Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living. Barely getting by, there's more taken than there's given. And Jolene, 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 Jolene.
I'll put away my nuts here. Hi fans of high quality entertainment, sorry about that. Today, as some of you, or most of you probably know by now, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees for 2022 have been announced. And I think this has gone on for years and years and years. Every year, a lot of us are not happy with some of the choices that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame makes, or Rolling Stone. And so every year we do videos like this and we complain. But it's just, you know, I look forward to the comments. Some of you will disagree with some of what I say, and some of you will agree. It's just the way it is. And it's all good. So there might be a tad bit of humor in this video, unlike all of my other videos. Forced humor is always funny. So this year, the nominees are Beck, Pat Benatar, Kate Bush, Devo, Duran Duran, Eminem, Eurythmics, Judas Priest, Fela Kuti, if that's how you pronounce it, MC5, New York Dolls, Dolly Parton, Rage Against the Machine, Lionel Richie, Carly Simon, A Tribe Called West, and Dionne Warwick. And it says here, Beck, Duran Duran, Eminem, Dolly Parton, Lionel Richie, Carly Simon, and A Tribe Called Quest are appearing on the ballot for the first time. The other 10 nominees had been up for induction before. Judas Priest, Devo, Pat Benatar. That's crazy, Pat Benatar, and she wasn't she didn't win. Rage Against the Machine, Kate Bush, Eurythmics, New York Dolls, Dionne Warwick, Fela Kuti, and MC5. So I hope most of you watched this whole video, because there's lots of things to discuss here, and some of it's disgusting. So here are just quite a few artists, solo artists and bands that are still, as far as I know, you know, I might make one or two mistakes. I think I did that before in past years, and they were in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But for the most part, I believe none of these artists are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame yet. Jethro Tull, Iron Maiden, the Guess Who. I like to call them the friggin' Guess Who. They're not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Mott the Hoople, Motorhead, Warren Zevon, Soundgarden, Ozzy Osbourne. I'm pretty sure Black Sabbath is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but Ozzy had a very, very, very successful solo career. Oasis, Brian Eno, Sparks, Bachman Turner Overdrive, Peter Frampton, Bad Company, the Doobie Brothers, Harry Nilsson, Joe Cocker, Procol Harum, Captain Beefheart, Smashing Pumpkins, T-Rex, King Crimson, Blue Oyster Cult. So out of all of the nominees, this is just my own opinion. You can have your own opinion too. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong, really. It's just how all of us feel about this. So these nominees, I'll let you know if I agree or not with them being nominated. Beck, yes. Pat Benatar, she should have been nominated years ago. She should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Kate Bush, yes. Devo, yes. Duran Duran, yes. Eminem. I'm going to say no, because even though he's such a huge star, and there's probably quite a few classic rock lovers of classic rock that also enjoy Eminem. I used to own a couple of his CDs, but still, he's rap, he's not rock and roll. Eurythmics, yes. Judas Priest, absolutely. Fela Kuti, I don't think he did rock music, so no. MC5, yes, but before they are even nominated, like I said, Jethro Tull, The Guess Who, so many other bands that should have been nominated way before MC5. New York Dolls, even them, they weren't a big selling act like Jethro Tull or The Guess Who or Soundgarden or so many of these. So, at some point, yes, I could see them being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but not before these other artists that I've already mentioned. Dolly Parton, no. And like I said, nothing to do with her talent. She's an amazing talent, great songwriter, but she's not rock and roll. So, Rage Against the Machine, yes. Lionel Richie, no. Nothing to do with his talent. Carly Simon, that's kind of... Carly Simon isn't really necessarily rock and roll. A Tribe Called Quest, no. And Dionne Warwick, absolutely not. And that's the thing too, it's, a band like, yes, it took them years and years and years to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And by the time they did, of course, Chris Squire had passed away, and, he missed out on something that could have been very special for him. And so it's kind of sad, like especially these, like a band like Blue Oyster Cult. They've been making albums and doing live performances for over 50 years. And to not even be nominated is a real slap in the face to a band like that. And so I was thinking, what are 10 artists for next year's 2023 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nomination that maybe could squeeze into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? See what you think. Unbelievable that these 10 artists are not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but hopefully next year they are at least nominated. The Oak Ridge Boys. The Family Brown. Friggin', that's right, I said Friggin'. Friggin' Donny Osmond and the Osmonds. Engelbert Humper. Dink. The Great Twosome. Miles and Lenny. And they're Canadian. Very underrated band. They should have been in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at least 5 years ago. Saffron. Who can forget the Kendalls? And 3 more. The great keyboardist. Elton John's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. How come Liberace isn't? Always like, opening this up here. Boney M is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame yet. And last, but certainly not least, Pablo Cruz is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Shame on you, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So I know Rolling Stones, what's his name, Jan Wiener, is that his name? I know some of it is political, like if he had issues with some of these artists in the past, then, he's not going to let them in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is kind of pathetic, really. A lot of these bands that I've mentioned deserve to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. especially Pablo Cruz. So, yeah, that's it. I'd love your thoughts on the rock and roll. I should do this Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.